Hello everyone. We've gotten quite a few questions about how can I copy over my lesson content from Sakai into Brightspace. So as you may have heard or realized, the migration tool works really well for things like your assignments, your tests and quizzes, and even your discussion forums, as far as instantly sort of being able to migrate that content directly into Brightspace. What does not work well is actually getting the text and content that you've loaded into your lessons within Sakai. So that is more of a manual process to copy and paste that content over. But I'm going to show you some tricks on how to do that fairly quickly and cleanly. So let's go ahead and get started. What I've done here is I've opened up two screens. One on the left-hand side is my Brightspace course that I want to copy my content into. And on the right-hand side is my Sakai course that I want to copy my content from. So what I need to do in Brightspace is navigate to the Content tab. And I have already imported my table of contents and my weekly modules here. Now, go ahead and look at the Brightspace design guide for instructions on how to import the template. So now that I have my template here, what I'm going to do is just copy and paste my content. So the first thing I notice is I have an overview here and I want to put that here. So I'm going to click on the overview here within Brightspace. I'm clicking the drop down, which would allow me to add content, or I can click directly in here. And now it has exposed the editing content option. So if I pull down here, I can make that a little bit bigger. And on Sakai side, I want to copy this content from here. So I'm clicking on the edit tool, which is allowing me to see the content. And I don't need all of this, so my screen is not that large. I don't have to do the split. I do like to do the split because it just makes it easier for me. So what I can do is I can actually go ahead and just grab this content and copy it right on over. So I'm just going to click. I'm doing a Command A or Control A on a PC to select all. I can also just right click here. And that should also give me the option to select all. So I'm going to just do Command A and then Command C or Control C to copy. I can also right click to copy. And then I'm coming over here and I'm just going to do Command V to paste, or I could do Control V and so on. And it says the imaging has been disabled. So I cannot put the image here directly. So what I can do though is I can go ahead and close this. So I'm going to cancel. And now if I right click on this image, I can save the image as. I'm just going to click Save Image As. It'll call it download, but I'll just call it overview pick. And now it has saved to my downloads. What I can do is come over here and I can use that fun insert stuff, or I can just use the insert image. So I'm just going to use insert image. And now I'm going to search my computer, click to upload, and the file downloaded to my downloads. So here I click on my downloads, and here's the file. Just going to click add. It is a decorative image, so it does not need an alt text. And now my image is here. So I can click update. And there you go. My overview is now here from Sakai. So next what I want to do is I'm going to click on Start Here. And that's the next area I'd like to copy some content from. So I'm coming over here to Start Here. And so now from my Start Here, I have more content that I want to copy over. So I have my opening page here, and then you'll notice I have these other individual pages that I want to copy content from. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start with this one here, the welcome, and I can click edit, which now allows me to grab this content. And you notice I can also expand this window as well. So it just gives me more room to work within. And then on the left-hand side, where I want to put this is the welcome and learning objectives. Now this is where it gets a little tricky. So I've opened the welcome and learning objectives by clicking on the title. I'm going to click the drop down, and here I'm going to go to edit HTML. So where this is tricky is that the page within Sakai has been formatted with a header and titles and things like that. And all of that is informed by the HTML code. So what I need to be careful of is that when I copy from Sakai into Brightspace, that I'm not messing with the HTML code. So one way you can see the code is if I click here in the bottom, the HTML source editor. If I click here, you can see this is all of the code that goes into making that page look the way that it does. So a trick to copying into here is to do it in smaller chunks. So here is what I would like to copy from my welcome. You notice there's a long page here. I'm not going to just try to copy and paste every large bit of it for two reasons. One, some of it has no place in this course. I don't want to copy information about Sakai into Brightspace. But two, it's easier for me to do this in smaller chunks and keep the coding the way I want it to. So here I'm going to copy this first paragraph. Again, I'm using Command C, but you can also right click to copy. And then what I'm doing here is I'm now highlighting the text I would like to copy over, and I'm going to right click on it. And instead of just pasting, I want to paste and match the style. What that's going to do is it's going to tell Brightspace, hey, I have this Sakai coded content. I want to make it into Brightspace coded content. So here I'm going to click paste and match style. You notice the code and content, it all looks exactly the way it should, even if the fonts are different. A shortcut for this, if you are on a Mac, is a Shift Command V. That will do the same thing. So now I can come down here, and I notice that there's quite a bit of, information here regarding Sakai, but I still want this content. So again, I'm going to Command C or right click to copy. And then over here, I am right clicking and pasting to match the style. Now, I do want to make sure that I remove all mentions of Sakai. So I want to make sure I read through that. And I also want to format some of the headers. So here I have online learning orientation. I want to actually make that a header 2. And look, it took this content with it. So that's telling me it's too close. I want to just break that up. And what I'm going to do is select this again. This should not be my header 2. And instead, this is my paragraph, right? So now I'm back to paragraph. And then what I would typically do is go through and replace Sakai with Brightspace and so on. I'm not going to do all of that right now. So that is how that works. One other area to note is, when working with some of these other formatted elements, things like the numbers and that type of thing, one thing that might be easiest is here I can just delete this. And let's say that I have a list of these. This is not my learning outcomes, but I'm going to pretend for now I'm going to copy that. And here again, I can do that right click, or I can do the Shift Command V on a Mac. And what that's done is it's copied in within the content. But then what I want to do is break it up. So I'm going to click here, and that's my second, third, and so on. So you can see how that works. So it can be a little frustrating, but some of these tips are really going to help you. Now that I have this content here, I'm going to click Save and Close. And I'm ready to move on to the next area of my course. So again, you can see how clean that looks and it matches. If I did not copy that content the same way with the copy and paste and match style, what would have happened is my images would have become corrupt. My text format would have taken, if let's say I had a different font in Sakai, it would bring in that font into Brightspace and it would corrupt the HTML there. So a little tricky, but certainly doable. It definitely takes some time to do. So certainly want to sit back and find a comfortable place to get through your content. But once it's in here for good and you are good to go. So I can show you one more before I log off. So if I go into how the course works, I'm coming into how the course works up here in my start here. And again, I'm going to click on edit. And here I'm going to click the drop down to edit the HTML. I will expand this window and I'm going to expand this window. And I can grab this content here. So I could either go like this or I could do my select all, right click to copy. And then over here, again, I'm not going to do it all. So what I want to do is I'm just going to pick a small area and I will do paste and match style. And now I can play with it, right? So this I actually want to be the header. So how the course works, I could delete this and try to paste it up here. So if I paste this now, copy or paste and match style, here you go, it's worked. See when I brought it up to that line, what happened? So again, you just want to be a little careful there, but everything is fixable. So now I can come down here. And again, if I want to add other headers and that type of thing, I can. I don't want this text here, so I'm just going to go ahead and remove this. But let's say I do want this little fun guy here. What I can do is I can take this now, I can cut it, and then come down here, highlight, and do that paste and match style. And it works very cleanly. I can also type over this if I want to. So hopefully that helps. I'm going to click save and close here, cancel here, and I would just continue to work through each of the pages just side by side. It does work well, and once it's here for good. Good luck.